That's how we do it. Okay, last game we got to talk about Monday night.
Prime time, baby.
Absolute banger. I want to see SoFi turn up with the Chargers now at home. Their first primetime
I hope they turn because that Raiders fan base, they will invade.
Yeah. Yeah. And you got the Raiders who are undefeated. You got the Chargers who are 2-1. I'm very, very excited for this one. I might even go out to the bar for this game. That's how pumped I am. Quote of the weekend from week 3. They ask the coach for the Chargers, Staley, hey, why'd you go for it on 4th and 8, 4th and 9? And he goes, because my quarterback's a gangster. It's like, yeah, I love that shit. And you know why? I love that play call back in week 1. In overtime, the 4th and 1 play action, Joe Burrow hits the tight end over the top. Mm-hmm. I like, Lamar, you want, maybe not Lamar, he's a bad example because he's been in the league for a while, but still, Lamar's still young.
Trust your playmaker.
Trust your playmaker. Trust your quarterback. Get the locker room to be like, yo, you know what? I'm buying in on this guy.
Especially, you got to identify the matchup. Like, you look at what both Baltimore and the Chargers did. It's like, okay, you're going against Mahomes. You got to realize you do not want the ball in this guy's hands, and we're going to do everything possible to make sure he does not get the ball back. We're going to trust our players. Even in do-or-die situations, we're going to trust them, and they deliver.
Why not go for it there? Right? Like, you know what play blew my mind in overtime of that Raider game when Miami kicked the field goal to tie it?
Yeah, it's like, what's the purpose?
What's the purpose of that? Yo, if you're in overtime, say our two teams, we're both coaches for two teams. You get the ball first, you score a field goal. I get the ball next. I'm sorry, I'm not kicking a field goal. Unless it comes down to a situation where it's like 4th and 19.
Yeah.
And it's
4th and 2 in Miami game.
Yeah, what are we doing? I'm going for it. Because then you could just get the ball and guess what? You can kick a field goal and win the game.
Right.
So I'm not giving you a chance to win the game.
And not to mention, you're probably not going to have another possession after that because with the way that the minutes are down.
It's only 10 minutes. It's 10 minutes now. And there was like 4 minutes left in that game. Like, it just sometimes the play calling is just out of control for me. I don't get it. Like
we call it like situational management. Like some coaches, they nail it because they're all in and they believe in their talent. While these other coaches, they're just too conservative for their own good.
Yo, the Manning cast, Peyton Manning was losing his mind. Like, McCarthy, call a timeout there. Like, what are we doing? What is going on?
Dude, like, it was the most basic thing. Like, all you had to do was just manage the clock. Like, you gotta realize, what are you gonna do with those two timeouts?
In Madden, you call timeout there.
The computer does that. Like what are you gonna do with those two timeouts, Mike McCarthy? Oh, they're gonna go to the second half now. Like, you're gonna have 5 timeouts now. It's like, use your timeouts.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all.
But Staley's brilliant.
Yo, look, you gotta to beat teams like that on the road against a team that's been running shit in your division. You gotta take chances.
Right.
Look, it's one of those. If it didn't work out, we'd be saying, "Oh, he's an idiot. He should have done this." Nah, man, I'm always for the aggressiveness. Right. I want a guy that got balls. Look, put him on the table. This is what we're dealing with. Let's go for it. Let's do that shit. Right. Especially when I got a guy like Herbert.
Yeah, right. Agree. I'm just fascinated also with the coaching matchup. We got young hotshot defensive mind going against, I'm not gonna call Gruden a dinosaur, but man, the old scientist John Gruden.
Been around.
Yeah, he's been around. It's a fun matchup. I just love seeing how animated John Gruden is. Like, regardless if his team's winning or not, like John Gruden's always just so animated. Like he's always pumped up, and it's kind of crazy that the Raiders now have 2 Monday night games, but they're entertaining.
Yeah, which team do you think has surprised you more?
Oh, it has to be the Raiders.
Yeah, right?
Because we were pretty high on the Chargers coming in. And
that's true.
It's just the Raiders. It just seemed like their offseason was so confusing between the weird contract to Kenyon Drake and then what they're
losing the offensive lineman.
Yeah, and not really replacing them. And defensively, it's like, okay, you sign Ngakoue, but like Ngakoue's been around a bit now. Like, you're really going to trust him as the featured pass rusher? But like, look what you want to talk about. We talk about Max Crosby. Max Crosby might be the most improved player in the league. Like, he's literally one of, like, I think in terms of pass rushing, like, I think he's up there most pressures generated. Like, it's like him and Myles Garrett right now. Like, he's on that level, and Crosby's making a huge difference, which they need because after the whole Clint Farrell disaster with that 4th pick, they need someone to step up. So him and Ngakoue are getting after. And we talked about for years, like, who could forget, like, after, 5 weeks after Khalil Mack trade, John Gruden in the press conference goes, Really need a pass rush right
Yeah,
now.
it's like, no shit, you had the best one probably in the league.
But hey, he's got pass rush now, so I like what they're building there. Even though the offseason, it just seemed like no one really knew what they were doing.
Yeah, and on the flip side, you got a offensive line for the Chargers that I watched a breakdown of what they've been doing on third downs. Did you watch that clip?
No.
About how they go up tempo, where the line would go and set up, and then Lindsley would look back at Herbert. He'd get the call, and then immediately when he would put his hand down, snap the ball.
Wow.
And they've converted about, I think it was 13 of the 16 third downs that they've done that to throw. And you'll watch the clip of DBs aren't set up. Linebackers are turning to safeties like, yo, you're over there, this strong side, whatever it might be. And then before you know it, you're in panic mode.
So you got to be extremely disciplined.
That's why Keenan Allen is open by 12 yards.
Yeah.
No one's around him, and he's converting third downs.
I saw a 2-point conversion against the Chiefs where Mike Williams was wide. Like, I don't know if it was Honey Badger or Shed, but one of them was just on the other side of the field. The next thing you know, like, as Herbert's throwing out to Williams, like, a corner is like 4 yards away from easy 2-point conversion. So I do what you mean when the quick snaps. And a guy like Lindsey, all-pro center,
Right.
You could do things like that.
Yeah, and Slater has been,
What an asset.
I mean, dude, if you look at the last 5 years, some of the best guys in the rookie classes have been linemen, right? Wirfs,
Right.
Nelson, him now. So that dude has solidified that offensive line and all the moves that they made in the offseason as well. Yeah. I'm very bullish on this Chargers team, and I think if you want to be taken seriously, you're in a primetime spot right now. It's the first one for Herbert since that Saints game, I think. They played that Saints Monday night game.
Right. That was a really tricky opponent.
But now there's expectations, and if you want to make a case for MVP, which is what I want you to do, right, as someone that's financially invested in this, this is one of those standalone games where, do you remember Lamar in 2019? They played the Pats on Sunday Night Football, and the Pats came in undefeated.
Right.
They were like 8-0, 9-0, but it was that wacky year with the Pats where
they play a lot of soft.
A lot of like weak
QBs,
quarterbacks.
Yeah, we were talking about like Case Keenum.
Yeah, they played
Baker
Daniel
as
Jones
worse,
on Thursday.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The Sam Darnold and shit like that. And then you go into Baltimore and they blow the doors off New England. The next day, that Monday, Lamar Jackson becomes the favorite for the MVP. Does not look back after that. Obviously, that was week 9, and you had that huge sample size of half the season that Lamar was lighting it up. But that really solidified him as the MVP. I think Justin Herbert and the Chargers, this is a big statement kind of game because the Raiders have a lot of public perception and sort of a huge fan base. And they're a team that resonates with NFL fans. Like, the league is better when the Raiders are good.
Yeah.
Right? Sort of like the Knicks in basketball. When the Knicks are good,
Perfect comparison.
you want to have the Raiders, a lot of dysfunction through the years of both, right? But you want to have the Raiders be good. And now you got them undefeated. You're prime time. You're home building. First time SoFi is going to have a night game. I'm very excited for this. And I think the one guy that deserves his flowers early on in the year, a guy that I highlighted, Asante Samuel Jr.
Ooh.
That dude is just money so far.
Him and Chris Harris have really formed a nice tandem there.
And then Derwin James, too, which I want to see what his status is. Because he got banged up, but it's not supposed. He was all smiles in the press conference, which was good to see.
Because to me, the two biggest things, and if you want to get into picks why I'm going to Chargers, I think him and Joey Bosa will be the difference makers. You know, Joey Bosa had 10 pressures against the Chiefs. Like, he was creating crazy amount of pressure. I think he had 1.5 sacks he might have had. I know he had 1 sack. But Joey Bosa's getting after, and against that Raiders O-line, especially particularly against Leatherwood, I think he could just eat up Leatherwood. And then another thing, so against the Chiefs, I think Travis Kelce had over 100 yards, but like 60 of those yards came when Derwin James was injured. And now look who he's going up against. He's going up against Darren Waller now. So you want to talk about a matchup, Derwin James and Darren Waller. And after the job that Derwin James did on Kelce, I'm thinking, ooh, if you lock up Waller, which is obviously a huge ask because, look, Waller's just a freak of nature. But if you could limit Waller, that offense is going to have problems moving the ball. So to me, why I'm so high on the Chargers and I think they're going to win this game is just you have Waller and Bosa. You have James, taking care of Waller, at least limiting him, and then Bosa doing work on their right side. Two of their best defensive players could easily have a huge impact on this game. And I also don't think the Raiders have the corners to last with the Keenan Allen, Mike Williams either. So I think this game really bodes well for the Chargers.
Yeah, it's set up to be a nice statement win for the Chargers there. And then, depending on what happens in that Baltimore-Denver game, you might be looking at the Chargers would step in as, if Denver was to lose, the Chargers would step in as first place in that division. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be fun, man. I'm super pumped for this slate.
Assume you're going Chargers?
I'm going Chargers, yeah. Now, I don't know if they cover the 3.5. That half point really scares me, the hook. But the Chargers, this should be a game where, I could see them being up 10 and then a late touchdown kind of situation like that.